Today we are visiting Talley Abbey.
Talley Abbey was once a monastery of the Premonstratensians, or White Canons, a Catholic order founded in 1120 and had houses throughout Western Europe.
This specific monastery, however, was founded in around 1185 by Rhys ap Gruffydd, ruler of the Kingdom of Deheubarth.
The monks who lived here supported themselves by farming fish in the two nearby lakes.
The abbey was dissolved in the dissolution of the monasteries by Henry VIII, and the stone from the building was then reused by the local people to build the village and the chapel next to the remains of the abbey.
The best time to see this place is early in the morning because the mist is rising off the ground and it makes it look that much more dramatic. It's a pretty place. It's pretty and impressive, and yet small. So it's impressive on a small scale. They started building it. The other Presbyterians around them got a bit jealous about their land and wealth and had a bit of a barney over it. It ended up going to court, and after years of legal battles, the White Canons won, so they're able to return, but they never really got to finish it. So it's much smaller than they anticipated it being. But they still built what they had built on a very grand scale. Although there's not very much, the impressive bits are still here.
So obviously a lot of the buildings that are here were once the abbey. You can see all the stones being robbed out, and it's apparently ended up in the village. We visit yet another place where the locals were thieving gits. And it's understandable. I mean, it's either, take what's handy and available, in this case an abbey, or alternatively quarry a bunch of new stone. So I can understand why they did it.
So under this very impressive and rather drippy arch is the presbytery, or what's left of it. It's just a short wall that's left. But I do love a good arch, and the arch does frame the landscape beyond beautifully.
So according to the signs behind me, this bit here is the chapel, this bit here is the chapel, and this bit over here is the chapel. So that's a bit confusing, but the bit I'm standing in is the north transept, so, I feel slightly better about that. Seems a bit, odd. How many chapels do you need?
In the chapel, they've got this set of steps here that lead to nowhere. So that's a tantalising view that there was once more than one level, more than foundations. Other than these big arches here, most of what's left are these low-lying walls and the columns and pillars that go in between them that either denote another arch or perhaps a dividing wall. It's quite interesting to see the bare bones of the place, and you get a rough guide as to the height of the thing, so you can imagine what scale it might have been when it was finished, even though it was never really finished.
Let us imagine for a moment that you are a king or a queen, basically a ruler of a large group of people, and you want to maintain your rule without too much effort. Now, you can do this in a number of ways. You can make sure that you are a benevolent ruler and that the people have lots of things that they need and they want, so that they're looked after sort of when it comes to things like healthcare, which admittedly, because of the time period that we're talking about, which is quite a long time ago, that probably wasn't about. But you can build a whacking great big castle, and you can show your power to make sure that the people sort of stay in line and don't think to themselves, you know what, we could be probably doing a better job of this ourselves, or alternatively just don't need this bloke at the top anyway. And then there is another way of doing this. What you do is you give your people religion. Bear with me on this, because I know this can be a bit of a topic that perhaps might seem a bit contentious, but if you have a religion that says respect the guy at the top, and the people believe this and they agree with this, then chances are that you, as the guy at the top, can influence them by saying, hey, I'm the guy at the top, and you like the guy at the top, equating yourself, if you like, with a deity. simply by bringing in a bunch of people who will do the work for you, and all you need to do is build them an abbey. That's quite clever management, to my mind. So what do you make of Talley Abbey?
I like it. It's one of those things that appears suddenly out of nowhere and looks really stunning in the landscape. So it's one of those things that looks stunning in the landscape and makes the landscape look stunning.
It's interesting because there's not a busting great deal left here, mainly because of the fact that it's now making up the buildings in the village. But what's here is pretty good because you've got a lot of foundations. You can see what was once here. It wasn't a very big abbey. We've been to much bigger ones. To my mind, it's not too ostentatious, while at the same time being quite ostentatious.
I think the main reason it's not too ostentatious is the fact that they never managed to quite get the funds to finish it.
That'll do it.
They've got to a certain point, got in a bit of legal hargy-bargy with some jealous other monks who were just like, oh, they shouldn't come round here. They should all be Presbyterian. And then, fought over the land a bit, and they came back a bit broke and just went, oh, well, we'll just eke out our meagre living in this massive small abbey.
I think that is it from us at Talley Abbey, don't you?
I think so too. See you next time.
TTFN.